Welcome back. Now, Investec has delivered a solid set of annual results, reporting a 5% rise in revenue and a 13.4% jump in adjusted basic earnings per share. The upbeat numbers were boosted by a good performance in corporate client franchises, along with a strong showing in its South African wealth and investment unit. We're now joined by Investec Bank CEO Cumesh Moodlier. Thank you so much for your time, Cumesh. Now, let's actually start off with the big drivers of that revenue growth. Firstly, starting off with your corporate clients, talk to us about the level of activity that you've seen there, but also the level of opportunity and appetite that does still exist there in terms of your corporate banking business, particularly in South Africa.
Thanks very much, Zanati, and thanks for having me on your show today. And great to join you. So I think just talking to the South African business and particularly the corporate franchise, as you refer to, is I think what we have seen is levels of activity and growth starting to pick up. We've had our lending books grow within the corporate space at just under 6%. In a very tough macroeconomic environment. I think you're very well versed in all the challenges faced by SA Inc. And if we look at a high interest rate environment, you take GDP growth of just over 1%, add to that some of the structural challenges around energy crisis for the first 3 quarters really of the last financial year. It's the last quarter that we've seen some respite on energy, but still that's really been a key dampener on earnings for many of our clients. We are seeing corporate activity starting to look more positive. We see across our energy and infrastructure finance business higher levels of activity, and for obvious reasons. Where private sector is really stepping in to fill the gap. From an energy perspective, we're seeing it from rooftop solar to large energy projects and infrastructure projects. So that's been a positive activity. And also from an Investec perspective, a key driver for us is how we grow our mid-market segment of corporate. And there we're also starting to see some levels of activity. I think what we would hope to see is in a post-election environment, a higher level of economic stability, and where government continues the focus on the reform of SOEs, that the energy crisis over a period of time with the key initiatives and partnerships that have been built between government and the private sector absolutely continue with the same momentum. I think it's imperative that to unlock what SA Inc. could hold is that those partnerships continue to thrive in a post-election environment. So the opportunity for businesses particularly to work towards a deepening of public-private partnerships to build out the infrastructure needed, and also in the same vein would be referring to transport and logistics, the work being done around Transnet. All of those are key pieces where we see activity being aligned to that. And similarly,
and really, it's really quite encouraging also to see the private sector trying to lend a hand in terms of fixing our infrastructure pressures here in the country. I mean, I know that your clients are at the top end of the market, but of course you mentioned the subdued economic growth that we have seen, the headwinds. So there really is still a level of risk. Let's go into your impairments as you also talk about this growth in the loan book. What is the level of credit stress there? And I mean, for lack of a better word, how comfortable is Investec with its impact?
So I think if I talk to, again, Zanati, talking to our South African business, which I think would really be relevant to your viewers, we've actually had a negative credit loss ratio, which in fact is one where we've had a year where we've had a number of significant recoveries. So our year has been a very different year, notwithstanding the high interest rate environment.
All right. Well, you spoke about elections, and of course, one of the strong underpins for your revenue growth has been from the wealth and investment business in South Africa. At this point of the economic cycle, what factors are driving the investment choices of your clients, and has the election risk been part of it?
I think a few things. I think in any emerging markets, any emerging market, clients look to diversify their investment holding, and South Africa is no different in that respect. So that would just be the one point I'd make. The second point is I think generally SA has been risk. Many of our clients have been risk off SA, and that's part of it. And the third aspect would be, I think, just a general prudence from an asset allocation perspective. So assets under management in our wealth and investment business have grown to just over 500 billion rand, and new inflows in that business in the year under review have been just under 17 billion rand of discretionary assets under management, which is in, I think a relatively positive number given the circumstances in SA right now, and particularly from a discretionary funds management perspective. Also highlighting some of the work that we've done between our bank and wealth business to create a far more integrated proposition for our clients.
All right. Well, Cumesh, we are running out of time, but really just to close off the conversation, you do have new targets where you have revised your medium-term targets upward, and really that speaks to the confidence that you have in that growth picture. Where are your most promising opportunities in Southern Africa?
So I think, Zanotti, there are three key areas for us. The one is continuing to grow our private client franchise and acquire new clients. The second is in the corporate mid-market space, again, continuing client acquisition, not just for transactional banking, but for the event-led and flow businesses that flow from that. So that's a key objective for us. And the third would be in our energy and infrastructure finance area, where that speaks for itself based on some of my earlier comments to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and giving us insights on those numbers that we saw coming out of Investec, and also the prospects for Southern Africa, particularly going forward. That was the CEO of Investec Bank, Cumesh Moodlier.